Welcome out here to the Orlando Solar Bears Broadcast Network. I'm Bob Mills, and joining me over the phone right now is the head coach of the Orlando Solar Bears, Vince Williams. Vince, you're currently out at the prospects camp for the Minnesota Wild out in Traverse City. What have you seen so far on day one? I get the feeling you've had a chance to watch at least a little bit of hockey.
Yeah, I've been able to take in a couple games here. Obviously, I have two sheets of ice and two games going on at once. So it's great just to be able to watch a game when it's period's over. You go on to the other side and watch. So obviously, it's a great opportunity to reconnect with a lot of people in the hockey industry and the hockey world here. Obviously some former players and of mine and coaches I played for, as well as some agents that I've been dealing with. So it's great to kind of interact with them and get to see the product and then get to take a look at. Obviously, there's plenty of prospects and draft picks here, but there's also a handful of free agents that'll be out there as well. So you certainly be able to take a good look at these guys and on their first day of games and do some evaluating. And I certainly look forward to taking in the Minnesota game here in the next hour and a half. So we're pretty excited here.
Now, I know you talk about getting a chance to interact with some, former coaches and people that you know from around the hockey world. Have you done much work with the Minnesota Wild coaching staff at all on this trip?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke with Kurt a little bit this afternoon. Obviously in the hotel, and there hasn't been that much practice time as far as with their schedule. So, but he's certainly someone that I'm familiar with from previous organizations that I worked for. So, and obviously with Jim, we'll sit down probably a little bit more this evening here and talk a little bit. But it's been great to kind of meet and interact with them. And like I said, we're very excited about the opportunity to work with the affiliation this year. And certainly, as camp progresses and with the American League camps filtering down, we'll certainly increase our level of communication and getting ready for our training camp.
Now, we're going to look to last season here for a second, so maybe not quite as much that you're as familiar with as you'll be here in the future, but we do have a couple of former Solar Bears that are out at the Traverse City camp with the Minnesota Wild. That includes Josh Karan, Corbin Baldwin, and even a guy who played here for a couple of games, and Colton Jobkey. Not to analyze how these players are looking, I know you haven't had a chance to see the Wild prospects actually really hit the ice yet, but if you put yourself in their shoes and they're trying to get a chance to maybe start the season up at the American Hockey League this year, what do they need to do during camp to give themselves a shot?
Well, I think they have to play the way that they were, projected to play and not try to, you can see that, and it's only human nature with all, hands and eyes on deck here that you try to, get out of your comfort zone to impress. So, I mean, I think that they have a mandate in what they're looking for out of the player, and they have to stick to that type of identity that they need to play. Obviously, they've had a hard summer of training. They want to see how they progressed, how their conditioning and their fitness has elevated their level of play. And again, it's to fine tune them to be able to make an impression to put them in the main camp. And it's a progression for a lot of these guys. And then especially with young players, and obviously from a developmental standpoint, you can see even from players that have a year of pro under their belt that are sitting out here and playing out here, how much you can see what that level of 1 year has made a difference in compared to the rest of the players who haven't played pro. So, it's going to be a good gauge for them to see where they're at from a progressive standpoint and also see what they need to work on moving forward.
And of course, we'll have a chance to maybe get a little bit of a look at what we might be getting out of Marshall Everson as well, as he's getting a chance to head out there to Traverse City. What are you maybe hoping to see out of him during camp?
Well, he's certainly a big body. I mean, he's obviously a kid that can shoot the puck as well. So with his size and his speed and his ability to shoot the puck, I'm looking forward to seeing how he adjusts to the pro game, but also, his ability to play in traffic and to be, a guy that we can lean upon here if he ends up down in Orlando. But certainly a guy that, we went after very hard from a recruiting standpoint. So it's going to be good to, see him watch the little video on him, but actually see him with some players that are, on an equal level, and just see how he adjusts and see what he can do and how he can contribute here. So it's a great opportunity for him to be here, and it gets him a little bit of a jump start over a lot of other players that don't get the opportunity to go to a prospects camp.
I'm talking with the head coach of the Orlando Solar Bears, Vince Williams, out in Traverse City, Michigan for the Minnesota Wild Prospects Camp. And before we let you run, Vince, I did want to talk to you real quick about a couple of players that the Solar Bears announced today will be part of the roster, and that would include Taylor Matson as well as Zach Harrison. What can you say about these two players? What are they going to bring to the Solar Bears team?
Well, Zach is kind of a player right now that seems to be coming in his own. If you, he really had a great playoff in Alaska. He's going into his fourth year. I mean, he's great on draws. Very good on the defensive side of the puck, penalty kill, but he's got good speed. So I think he's kind of, in a position right now where this is a real big year for him to get some more exposure, to hopefully get a look in the American League, to go into an American League camp. And like I said, we expect big things out of him. And obviously, with his he's been in an organization that has won a lot of hockey games. You can utilize him in many aspects of the game in every position if you have to. And he's an outstanding character kid. So we're very excited to have him. And we were fortunate to get a deal done for him. So Matson's a young kid, former captain. Minnesota, I've heard nothing but great things about him. With tenacity, he plays with an edge. He's gritty. He works. I mean, he's that type of player that you're going to need. He can play all three positions as well. Power play, kills, penalties, very versatile. So, just another kid that, exemplifies that type of character and that type of leadership that you want in your locker room, and especially for a young pro. So try to get a full season under his belt here for the development.
All right, Coach. We'll really appreciate you taking the time. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your time out there in Traverse City. Thanks for joining us today.
All right, thank you very much.
That is Solar Bears head coach Vince Williams with me, Bob Mills, on your Orlando Solar Bears broadcast network.